Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cultural Time on Leopard Radio 98.7. Today, we have a very special guest. First of all, I am Media Muhammad, and today joining me is Johnny Muhammad, also my co-host. We will be talking with Ms. Kayla Bokelman, the Regional Security Officer at the Consulate General of the United States of America in Erbil, Kurdistan region of Iraq. Ms. Kayla, welcome to our station. We're very delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you both at Leopard Radio.
The honor is all ours. First of all, what do you think of the station?
I think it's awesome. I think it's truly amazing. I'm looking at the equipment.
Yeah.
It's very high tech.
Ms. Kayla, just to get things started and just as a warm-up,
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your job at the consulate? What do you do? And also, how did you choose your profession? And maybe a little bit about your background, where you came from, where you studied, and also it's just like a little recap for the listeners and the viewers about you, maybe.
Great. Sure, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I'm what's called the Regional Security Officer at the U.S. Consulate General in Erbil.
Yes.
There, I'm in charge of all of the security for the U.S. Consulate, which means I'm doing the security for the entire compound, all the people in it, and all of the information that comes out of it. So, how did I choose my job? Well, I feel like it more chose me. I started out as a Peace Corps volunteer in Zambia. And there, while I was there, I went to the embassy, the U.S. Embassy there, and I found out about the different jobs, and I thought, wow, being a diplomatic security special agent, that sounds like a really great job. So I thought that sounded like a lot of fun. So what I did instead is I went back and I got my Master's of Business Administration in Finance, and I worked at a bank, and I thought after a couple of years, that wasn't a lot of fun. So I applied for, and I became a diplomatic security special agent. That is what RSOs are. That it's the core of what we are. Diplomatic security is the law enforcement and security bureau of the U.S. Department of State. We are also foreign service officers, so we live and work abroad, and we're in every embassy and almost every consulate around the world.
Can you also tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from?
Sure. I came in the United States. I come from Nebraska, the state of Nebraska. It's in the middle of the country. I make the joke that there are more cows than there are people. And when someone tells you they're from Nebraska, many people, or when I tell people I'm from Nebraska, they'll be like, "Oh, I've never met anybody from Nebraska." And my other joke is, well, they don't let many of us out.
Oh.
So I also graduated from the University of Nebraska.
Oh.
And so at that time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I thought I wanted to live and work internationally. Yeah. So I joined the Peace Corps. And I did, and I went overseas, and I ended up staying in Zambia and then Malawi for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And that's really how I came to love living and working overseas. But after I'd worked in the bank for a couple of years, I was like, I want to do something fun. And I thought, being a special agent, working in security and law enforcement seemed fun. And it really has been. It's been 21 years now, and I've had a truly amazing career.
Oh, wow, I think that's a really good recap for our listeners and also our viewers. I think, Johnny, would you like to take over and ask her a couple of questions?
Yes, thank you, Media. Ms. Kayla, we are fast approaching the 250th anniversary of the independence of the United States from Great Britain in July 1776. So in light of that, I thought it would be a great topic to discuss the changing and evolving role of women in the U.S. since the founding of the country. So maybe you could start by listing 3 or 4 events that affected women the most, and why do you think that those events are important?
Okay, that's a great question, and sometimes it's hard to believe it's 250 years. So, and just how far the United States has come as a country and a nation, and where we hope to go in the future. Of course, having a law enforcement background, I always look at the laws and how to work within the laws, and then how to change laws for the better. So I would have to say, for me, it's 3 events or 3 passages of different laws would probably be the biggest, would be the best way for me to describe advancing women's rights in the United States. And that starts with the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, which was really the women's, it was the first convention to move forward with women's suffrage and women's rights. Now, in 1900, finally passed the law of the Property Rights Act, which then gave women the right to own property and control their own money. Again, these are, in my, to put it simply, these are game changers, right? When you can control your own money and your own destiny, that gives you the freedom to make different choices. And then finally, I would have to say, the next one I would have to say is the passage of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote in 1920. Mm-hmm. So from the time you started in 1848 till 1920, what is that, about 72 years? That's a long time, right? We as a nation were pushing ourselves forward, changing the way we did things, working within the conventions and society to continually increase women and human rights. And then finally, of course, is the Civil Rights Act and the Equal Pay Act of the 1960s, which then said and codified, yes, women, minorities need to be paid and treated as equals.
Yes, thank you for that. So in light of what we just discussed, as a woman in a leadership position, how were you able to overcome the challenges that you might face?
Well, I'd have to say, I've been working on different, I've been working since I was in my 20s, so we're talking decades here. Let's not talk exact decades. We're talking decades here, to finally get into, the larger leadership roles. So, but my entire time in my entire career, especially with diplomatic security and then regional security office, I started out with small projects and programs. I didn't just all of a sudden join as a special agent, and now the first job I have is leading all the security at the U.S. Consulate in Erbil. That's not how it works, right? You start off with small projects and programs, and then you build your way up. And so for me, I've looked at any chance I could, I would take the opportunity to be in a leadership role or lead a project or lead a program. And the best example I have is when my first assignment in San Francisco, we were sitting around at the office, and the bosses asked, who wants to be on the Bay Area Human Trafficking Task Force? Well, I was the first person to raise my hand. And I think it was because everybody thought, oh, this is just another group, another layer of bureaucracy. Well, I was like, this is amazing, right? And so I could just see the opportunities that other people didn't see, and I was willing to work on those opportunities. And so with that, I partnered up with a local police officer out of San Francisco, and we were the lead agents on a human trafficking ring that we busted and took down out of Taiwan. Oh. And then I also was then supporting two other agents on cases out of Korea and Central America. And this really jump-started my career in really on the investigative side of being a DS special agent, because there's lots of different things that we do as agents, but about half my career has been spent in investigations, and the other half has been on security. So those leadership roles, they don't come right away, the big ones, but the smaller ones do, and that's how I really got started and moved my career forward.
From what you just said, you are like a model for courage for women.
Honestly, 100% big on that, actually.
That's really nice. I always tell my kids, I have two kids, that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's just overcoming it and doing it anyway.
I think that's a very nice intake for the listeners and the viewers. Ms. Bokelman, to wrap things up, I think we're heading to an end, right?
Yeah.
To wrap things up, could you also leave a piece of advice? This is very dear to me and personal because I'm graduating soon. So can you, can you leave a piece of advice for women who are aiming to reach positions that are in leadership, and also tell them what could make this easier and set the road right to them? And if you could also relate it to the context of women here in the Kurdistan, because if you compare it to other regions and other places across the seas, it could be a little bit different, maybe a little bit harder as well. So if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, congratulations on about to be graduate. That's awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I would say, first of all, build your expertise, right? You got to be able to you have to know things and you have to do things. That would be the other bit of advice, right? Do things, right? And do them right and do them well, right? As leaders, we're always looking for the person that can get things done.
True.
Right? If I'm not really interested in the person that's going to complain or figure out 1,000 ways we can't do something. I'm looking for the people that can figure out ways to get things done. Also, make sure you find that network of people that that are your allies, right? And that you enjoy and they enjoy you, and you promote each other, right? It can be mentors that are in leadership positions. It can be peers. It can actually be people that are subordinates and or, people, undergraduates, right?
Yes, yes.
As well. But make sure you find those people that are advocating for you as well. As far as working within cultural norms, I think that's, it's not always easy, but it's doable. Again, I picked out the examples that I did of the United States because it took 70 years, right? It doesn't happen quickly, but if you're working within the laws and working within the rules and regs, make them work for you and figure out ways how to make it better, right? Change them to make them better. Things are going to be hard. Unfortunately, that is, I hate to say it, that's life. There's no easy answers.
It's okay.
There's no easy answers. But when you're out there making those differences, changing where you can, and sometimes you make bigger changes and sometimes you make smaller changes around the edge, but still being that voice that continuously is out there trying to make life better for people and yourself.
Oh, Ms. Bokelman, thank you so much for that piece of advice. I'll hold it dear to my heart, and I believe Johnny as well. Thank you so much, Ms. Bokelman. I think that's all about the time that we have today. I think we're wrapping it up. Thank you, Johnny, so much for co-hosting with me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And yes, this was Cultural Time on Leopard Radio 98.7. It's been a real pleasure.
I just want to say thank you as well. And this was a real honor for me.
Honor ours.
And I would also say, as with the 250th year anniversary of the United States, please make sure that you're following the U.S. Consulate social media, whichever one you want. We put things out regularly about what's going on and different milestones that we'll be talking about. And also you see the great things that we're doing from the consulate and working within the IKR. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bokelman. Thank you. That's a wrap. Thank you.